Hello students, welcome back to your channel Lecture Guruji. I Aman Bhatia welcome you all for today's session. Today's session is a very special session because it's the first time we are going to do a marathon session. What do I mean to say by a marathon session is that today we are going to do a one short video of this topic, effects of electric current. Yes, the entire topic will be taught to you in one video. So students, sit back, enjoy the lecture and do share the video with all your friends, all the students or whosoever you feel can be benefited with this video. If this is the first time you're watching the video online on my channel, do hit the subscribe button after watching the video. So students, without any further delay, let us begin with the topic of effects of current. So the first thing what you need to know in this topic is what is electric current, and then only we will come to its effect. So students, electric current, if we see precisely here, this electric means, okay, this electric means charge, okay, this means charge, and here this current means flow, okay, like water has its own current, water has its own flow. Here also we are talking about flow of charge. Now what type of charge are we talking about? So students, here we are talking about electron. Okay, what is an electron? Electron is a subatomic particle. We all know it is represented as small e, and as it is a negatively charged particle, we also give a minus sign to it. Well, the charge of one electron is given as 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. Now when we talk about an object, okay, please understand we're talking about flow of electron. Okay, so there are two types of object. One are called as conductors and the others are known as insulators. Okay, so for us we are talking about such materials which are going to conduct electricity. That means those who will allow the flow of electrons. Conductors are the one who allow flow of electrons. Okay, allow flow of charge, and insulators are the one who do not allow flow of charge. Okay, so I hope this much is clear to us. So now if someone asks you what is electric current, okay, so you can define electric current as, electric current is defined as flow of charge per unit time, flow of charge per unit time. Electric current is given by the symbol capital I. This is the symbol, okay, and charge is given by the symbol capital Q, okay, and of course we know that time is given by the symbol small t. So therefore if I ask you to write the formula of electric current, we know that current is equal to charge upon time. Okay, now what is this Q? Q is the total charge flowing, and what is this E? E is the charge on one electron. So sometimes, okay, we are given number of electrons flowing through it. In such a case, the total charge will be equal to number of electrons multiplied by charge on each electron. So some important formulae what we are discussing before we come to the actual topic. Okay, so now I hope this complete is clear to you. Okay, the one thing which is remaining is its unit. Okay, what is the SI unit? Well, frankly speaking, as it is given as charge upon time, okay, the unit will be coulomb per second. However, this entire concept was given to us by a scientist name or a physicist named Andre Ampere, and hence in the honor of his work we call the SI unit of current as ampere, A-M-P-E-R-E. It is simply given as capital A. So I can say 1 ampere is the amount of current when 1 coulomb of charge passes through a particular cross sectional area for 1 second. 1 ampere is equal to 1 coulomb upon 1 second. For now, this much is what we need to understand about electric current. Now if we are clear about electric current, then when the current flows through a particular conductor or an object, to be very precise, it produces certain effects, and that exactly is what is our topic for today. So when electric current flows through a particular object, it produces heating effect, it produces magnetic effect, and it produces chemical effect. So there are 3 effects of current. Okay, how many effects of current are there? So there are 3 effects of current. Okay, one is heating effect of current, second is magnetic effect of current, and third is chemical effect of current. In 10th standard, students, we are going to study about the heating effect and the magnetic effect of current. Okay, chemical effect is not in physics for you all. So without any further delay, let us begin with heating effect of current. Now what do you understand by heating effect? See students, whenever current flows through a particular alloy, what is an alloy? Okay, do you know what is an alloy? Alloy is basically a mixture. Okay, it is not a pure metal, it is a mixture. It can be 2, more than 2. Okay, it is a mixture. Okay, like for example, okay, we use nichrome. Okay, this is one of the alloys. It's a material, okay, which we will use in one of the applications of heating effect. So when current is passing through a particular conductor, let us say there is this conductor, okay, this is one end A and this is another end B. Now what happens that these conductors have lot of free electrons. Okay, what do they have? They have lot of free electrons. Now these electrons are moving in random direction. So what we do is we connect them with a particular circuit, okay, with the help of a key, and let us say we have a series of battery, okay, and then it is connected on the other side. So now this is the positive side of the battery and this is the negative side. Okay, so here we give it a source. Okay, we give it a source. Now what is the source here? Source is a battery. What does this battery do? This battery creates a potential difference. Okay, it creates a potential difference. Potential difference, student, is given as capital V and is given by the unit as volt. Okay, its SI unit is volt. Now please understand, when I connect the battery, so there is a higher potential, so this positive thing means high potential, and this minus means low potential. Okay, so all these electrons which were free electrons, now the moment there is the potential difference created, these free electrons, okay, these free electrons, they start moving from negative to positive direction. Okay, negative to positive direction. So currently this B is negative and this A is positive. Okay, so the moment I switch on the key, I connect the circuit. Okay, when I connect the circuit, all these electrons will start moving from negative to positive terminal. Now the electrons are going from negative to positive, but current, okay, current will go from positive to negative direction, positive to negative direction. So always remember that flow of electric current is opposite to the flow of electrons. It is opposite to that of the flow of electrons. Always remember this. Electron goes from negative to positive, wherein the current goes from positive to negative. So all these free electrons will start moving from negative to positive, and what will happen here is that when they are moving, the current, we can say, will go from A to B. The current will go from A to B, that is from positive to negative. Now, what is happening here? When we are using a particular mixture, or when we are using a particular alloy, okay, along with these free electrons, these alloys, or precisely metals also, they have certain atoms, okay, ions, along with the electrons. So now when these electrons are going from negative to positive, okay, so suppose this is one electron and it is going from negative to positive. Now when it is moving, because of the potential difference, it gets some energy, okay, because of the potential difference, it gets some energy, so it comes into motion. Now when I am saying it is in motion, that means it has what type of energy? All of you know that the energy by the virtue of motion is called as kinetic energy, okay. Now when it is going from negative to positive terminal, in between these electrons collide. So what happens is collision of electrons with ions, atoms, okay, ions, atoms, as well as other electrons. Okay, now what will happen when there will be a collision? Okay, when there will be a collision, due to collision, okay, due to collision, can I say that this collision is behaving like an obstruction or obstacle? So due to collision, electrons lose their kinetic energy. They lose their kinetic energy. Now we know that energy cannot be destroyed. So what happens that when they lose their kinetic energy, this kinetic energy gets converted to heat energy. The kinetic energy gets converted to heat energy, and this is what is going to result in the heating effect of current. So the first of all, the question comes that, sir, how the heat is produced? So I hope it is clear to you that what is the reason behind the production of heat. So these electrons which are in motion, when they happen to collide, okay, the collision happens, okay, this collision is happening due to different ions and atoms, okay. So I can say that due to obstacles, right, collision happens due to obstruction, or we can say due to obstacles. So due to these obstructions or obstacles, when they collide, they lose their kinetic energy, and the loss of kinetic energy, okay, loss of kinetic energy results in production of हीट एनर्जी, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट है ये समझना कि हीट एनर्जी का रीज़न क्या है. ओके, सो लॉस ऑफ काइनेटिक एनर्जी रिजल्ट्स इन प्रोडक्शन ऑफ हीट एनर्जी. So when we use a particular device which will create the obstruction little more, okay, we call it as a resistor. Okay, this is how its symbol looks like, the electrical circuit symbol. We call it as a resistor. What is the function of resistor? Of course, the function of a resistor is to create resistance. To create resistance. What is resistance? Resistance is obstruction or obstacle. So when there will be resistance, there will be loss of kinetic energy, and this loss of kinetic energy, students, will result in the heat energy. Okay, so now the second term what is important for you to understand is the potential difference here. Because of potential difference only the electron will come into motion. Okay, so what is potential difference? Potential difference is given as capital V, and it is defined as work done in moving a charge. Okay, work done in moving a charge. So work done per unit charge. Okay, and hence its unit is joule, that is the unit of work, per coulomb. And further, as I told you all, this joule per coulomb is given as after the name of a scientist, Alessandro Volt. Okay, that's VOLTA, but A is silent, and slowly and steadily as we moved ahead, that A was completely removed, and finally the spelling of volt is VOLT. Okay, so 1 V is equal to 1 joule upon 1 coulomb. Okay, this is what is the definition of 1 volt, 1 joule per coulomb. Okay, when amount of work done is 1 joule in moving a unit positive charge from one point to another, okay, the potential difference is said to be of 1 volt. Okay, now the other thing is your resistance, which is given as capital R. So we have studied something as Ohm's law in 9th standard, and according to Ohm's law, the amount of current passing through a particular conductor or an object is directly proportional to potential difference. Okay, this is direct variation. Removing the sign of proportionality, we give it a constant. So I is equal to a constant small k into V. Therefore, I can say V is equal to 1 by k into I, and this 1 by k, students, is what is called as resistance. Okay, this 1 by k is called as resistance, which is given as capital R. So therefore, V is equal to Ri. V is equal to Ri. Okay, now from here we can say that R is equal to V by I. R is equal to V by I. This is the formula of resistance, and its SI unit is given as ohm. This is the symbol of ohm. Okay, this is the symbol of ohm. Okay, so again we can say that 1 ohms of resistance is equal to 1 volt upon 1 ampere. Okay, 1 volt upon 1 ampere. So again, all these are very, very important concepts, students. Whatever we are doing, this is very, very important for your further studies. This we have studied in 9th standard. So now we are clear with the reason behind the production of heat energy. This is what is called as heating effect of current. So when electric current is flowing through it, what is happening is actually a lot of electrons who are traveling from when they travel from positive to negative terminal, they happen to collide. Okay, the electrons, when they are traveling, it is from negative to positive terminal, they happen to collide with other atoms, the ions, and during that collision there is loss of kinetic energy, and this loss of kinetic energy results in the heating effect of electric current. Okay, further, last thing before we proceed ahead is that when the resistors are connected in series, the effective resistance is given as Rs, which is equal to sum of all the resistances connected across all the series. And when they are connected in parallel, then it is the reciprocal of the total resistance, which is given as 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3 plus so on till 1 upon Rn. So I hope that we are clear with all these important formulae. Okay, in terms of resistance, when we talk about resistance in detail, okay, always remember that resistance is directly proportional to the length of conductor, and it is inversely proportional to the area of its cross section. Okay, so this is direct variation, this is inverse variation, therefore we can write R is proportional to L by A, and removing the sign of proportionality, we give it a constant which is rho. Okay, density का भी यही symbol होता है, rho L upon A. Okay, therefore this rho is equal to R A upon L, R A upon L, and its unit is ohm meter, right? Because resistance is in ohms, area is meter square, length is meter, so square and meter cancel, so it's ohm meter. Now this is called as specific resistance also, and its name is resistivity. Okay, its name is resistivity. Resistivity is also called as specific resistance. It is constant for a given type of material. Okay, now if the area is unity and the length of the conductor is also unity, then we can say resistivity is defined as resistance. Resistivity will become equal to resistance. Resistivity is defined as resistance of a conductor of unit area and unit length. Resistivity is defined as the resistance of a conductor of unit area and unit length. So this is also very, very important. I hope you keep all these formulae in mind. So quickly, before we further proceed on the topic, let us make a note of all the formulae. The first formula what we learned is about current. I is equal to Q upon T. The next formula what we learned was the total charge is equal to number of electrons multiplied by charge on one electron, and this charge on one electron is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. The third formula is of potential difference, which is given as work upon charge, and the fourth one is of resistance. Okay, we can write as V is equal to Ri, or we can write it is equal to R equal to V upon I. And then when we talk about resistance, we have studied that when the resistance are connected in series, the formula is R1 plus R2 plus R3 so on till Rn, and resistance connected in parallel. Okay, when the resistance is connected in parallel, then the formula is 1 upon Rp is equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3 plus so on till 1 upon Rn. And lastly, resistivity or resistance in terms of resistivity is given as rho L by A. So these are the 7 important formulas which we have to keep in mind so far. If we need to use anything, we will use it in future, and we will see how to solve the questions based on these particular formulae. So now we are understanding about heating effect. Okay, and resistance is one of the reasons behind the heating effect. So we must have seen, as I said, a resistor looks like this. Okay, this can also sometimes look like this. Okay, we must have seen a lot of resistances like in a heater, okay, electric heater or a water heater. Okay, electric heater and a water heater. We have studied about the filament of bulb. Okay, the electric bulb is based on the application of heating effect of electric current. It is based on heating effect of electric current. Okay, so basically if we talk about the reason behind heating, we have understood it is the loss of kinetic energy. Now this was further given by a help of a law which is called as Joule's law. Okay, to understand Joule's law, we need to understand there is something called as electrical power. Electrical power. Electrical power is given as, what is power? A rate of doing work. Work upon time. Work is given as VQ in our case, right? V is equal to W by Q. So therefore we can say that P is equal to V Q by T. Q by T अगर हमें याद आ रहा हो तो Q by T is nothing but current. So VI, right? VI is one of the formula of electrical power, Okay. Now, by Ohm's law, can I say that V is equal to Ri? V is equal to Ri. So therefore P is equal to, V की जगह पे क्या आ जाएगा? Ri, और साथ में है क्या? एक और I. इसका मतलब पावर का एक और फॉर्मूला हो गया I स्क्वायर R, है ना? अनदर फॉर्मूला ऑफ पावर इज I स्क्वायर R. और अगर यही चीज़ मैं ऐसे बोलूँ कि I, okay, by Ohm's law also I can rather put I is equal to V by R. If I put so, then I can write it as P is equal to, अब V को वैसे ही रखेंगे और I की जगह क्या आ गया? V by R. That means this is going to be third formula which is V square by R. So पावर के 3 फॉर्मूले हैं हमारे पास. फॉर्मूला नंबर 1 VI, फॉर्मूला नंबर 2 I square R, formula number 3 V square by R. Now this is electrical power. So when we give energy to a particular conductor, okay, there is motion in electrons and these electrons, they collide in their path, loss of energy happens, and that loss of energy is resulting in the heating effect. So when we say loss of energy, तो एनर्जी का फॉर्मूला यहाँ पे क्या हुआ स्टूडेंट्स? एनर्जी का फॉर्मूला तो हुआ P इंटू टी, एंड दिस E is also heat energy to be precise. So can I say that if power is given as Vi, then heat energy produced in a conductor can be given as VIT. This is one formula of heat energy. Again, by Ohm's law, V is equal to Ri. So therefore H is equal to V is equal to की जगह पे क्या आ जाएगा? Ri, एक I पहले से है और एक और T आ गया, तो इसका मतलब ये फॉर्मूला हो गया I स्क्वायर RT. H इज इक्वल टू I स्क्वायर RT. मैं बोलता हूँ I स्क्वायर RT, सेकेंड फॉर्मूला I स्क्वायर RT. Also, as we said, that I can be given as V by R. I can be given as V by R. So H is equal to V is as it is, I can be given as V by R, and then we have T. This means V square T by R. This is the third formula of Joule's law. So from Joule's law we get these three formulae. Okay, H is equal to VIT, H is equal to V square T by R, and H is equal to I square RT. This is what is called as Joule's law. I hope this is very clear to us. So now we already had 7 formulae. Now we have 6 more formulae, 3 of electric power and 3 of heat. Heat is energy. Energy is given in joules. Now when we talk about electrical power, okay, when we talk about electrical power, power is what? Power is rate of doing work. मतलब it is joule per second. This joule per second is actually given as watt. It is in the honor of the scientist James Watt, who gave us the working of steam engine. We all know James Watt. Okay, so again I can say 1 watt is equal to 1 joule upon 1 second. So 1 watt of electrical power is that when 1 joule of work is done in 1 second, the power is said to be of 1 watts. Okay, now this is the energy. This is given in joules. This is power which is given in joule per second, given in watts. Okay, but 1 watt is a very small amount of electrical power. So when we talk about commercial unit, okay, in commercial unit we use 1 kilowatt, small k and a capital W, 1 kilowatt. 1 kilowatt is nothing but 1000 watts. Okay, and in commercial unit we not only give 1 kilowatt, we also calculate the energy for 1 hour. Okay, 1 hour. That means the commercial unit of power is 1 kilowatt hour. Okay, small k, capital W, small h. Now 1 kilowatt hour is what? 1000 watts into 1 hour converted to 60 minutes into 1 minute is converted into 60 seconds, because if this is an SI unit, this also has to come into SI unit. So this is 6 6 are 36. So this is equal to, okay, 3 6 0 0 0 0 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 3.6 into 10 raised to 6 joules of energy. is what is 1 kilowatt hour. So what is 1 kilowatt hour? When 3.6 joules or 3.6 into 10 raised to 6 joules of energy is used, we said that it is 1 kilowatt hour. This is called as 1 unit for us. Okay, this is 1 unit of energy. So when I say I have utilized 1 unit of energy, 1 unit of energy means 3.6 into 10 raised to 6 joules of energy. So when we see our monthly electricity bill, okay, the monthly electricity bill is calculated on this unit. Okay, so let us say if we have used 30 units in a month and per unit cost is 5 rupees, your electricity bill will be 5 into 30, of course, and there will be taxes and some other charges here and there. But purely the electrical consumption, if I ask you, then that electrical consumption charges are equal to the charge per unit multiplied by the total number of units, and this is what is called as 1 unit. I hope, students, this concept is completely clear to you, and all the formulae also are very, very clear to all of you. So this was about the heating effect. Now some important uses, as I said, okay, when we talk about uses, okay, there are 2 primary uses what we are going to talk about. Number 1 is electric bulb, okay, and number 2 is something called as a fuse. Number 1 is electrical bulb and second thing is fuse. So let us see the electrical bulb. Okay, so here is your electrical bulb. Okay, now when we talk about electrical bulb, we precisely know a few things about it. Okay, so this is the filament what we are talking about. This is the main filament. Okay, main filament. So what happens that when we give it an electrical supply, okay, we see that there is a glass body, a screw cap, okay, and inside it also there is a small tiny bulb, okay, a glass support, what you can say, and here is a solenoid type coil which we are calling it as a filament of the bulb, okay, and this is filled with nitrogen gas, is basically to keep it a little cool, okay, to keep it cool. Now what happens that when we connect the circuit or when we screw it in a particular holder, current starts flowing and this filament has a very high melting point, okay, high melting point, and this is the alloy what we called as nichrome. Okay, so this is a very high melting point. Now what happens that heat starts getting produced because of flow of current, and the heat becomes so much that it gets heated up to 3000 degrees Celsius. This is the temperature of the filament, and because of so much of heat, okay, it starts emitting light. Due to excessive heating, it emits light, and that is why we say that electric bulb is working on the principle of heating effect of electric current, and it is so hot that it starts emitting yellow color light. It starts emitting yellow color light. It is very fascinating, okay, how does that comes into picture. If I have to explain you a little bit about why we see this particular color, let us quickly understand it. We will try to understand that. Well, we know that the pattern, okay, of the visible light range is VIBGYOR. Above this region, red, we have infrared region, and below this violet region we have ultraviolet region. So now students, heat is here normally. So the heat energy which is coming out of our body is in the form of infrared radiations, which is not really perceived by our eyes. But what happens is that as the temperature increases, as the temperature increases, then the wavelength, which is given as lambda, it decreases. Okay, the wavelength decreases, and that is why when we heat an iron rod, when it becomes very hot, we call it as red hot, right? We call it as red hot. So basically it is hot, but now it is so hot that the heat wavelength has dropped from infrared region to visible region, and the first color what it starts emitting is red color. So now you understand that if I will further increase the temperature from red, it will appear to be orange. From orange it will appear to be yellow. That means yellow hot is more hot than orange. Like your essence stick, अगरबत्ती, उसमें से ऑरेंज लाइट निकलती है, मतलब वो रेड हॉट आयरन से भी ज़्यादा गर्म टेम्परेचर है उसका. ओके, सो यू हैव टू बी वेरी वेरी केयरफुल. एंड येलो हेड एंड येलो हॉट इज इवन मोर हॉट than orange or red hot iron. So now we get a little bit of idea that the color is also the indication of the temperature of the body. Okay, we can relate the color to the temperature of the body. Red hot is actually cooler than orange hot. Orange hot is actually cooler than yellow hot. Okay, if we are going to compare it. Okay, so the filament of the bulb goes up to 3000 degrees Celsius, and it has become so hot that the wavelength of infrared heat energy has now dropped to yellow color, and that is why we start perceiving yellow color from the filament. So I hope this is what is very very clear to you. Okay, I'm sure that it was fascinating and it was something nice to know. So this is the reason behind the yellow emission of yellow color emission of the filament. It is the excessive heat which you are seeing it as color, and that is why you see there is a very simple difference in a tube light and a bulb. Bulb, if it lits for some time and then if you want to remove it with bare hand, you can feel the heat, wherein in case of a tube light you don't feel the heat, even if it is lit for longer amount of time also, right? Because bulb is actually working on the principle of heating effect of current, and that is why it is producing heat. So I hope that the first effect, that is the first use, electrical bulb, is clear to all of us. Okay, so now we can move to the second one. Electric bulb is clear. Okay, now we are coming to the fuse. Now before we come to the fuse, we need to understand something related to the wiring system. Okay, now what is that? Well, when we talk about the wiring color coding in India, okay, earlier the live wire was given with red color. Okay, the live wire was given with red color. Okay, so this is the live wire. The main function of the live wire is to bring the current to the appliances. Okay, this is the neutral wire. Okay, neutral wire का काम क्या है कि करंट को वापस लेके जाना, यूज़ होने के बाद जितना यूज़ हो गया उतना ठीक है, बाकी को वापस लेके जाना. और ये हो गया तुम्हारा अर्थिंग. कि अर्थिंग का काम क्या है, अर्थिंग क्यों बोलते हैं इसको, इस बेसिकली क्या होता है कि कभी कभी जो हैवी इलेक्ट्रिकल अप्लायंस है, अगर हमारे लाइव वायर में जितना करंट आया, ठीक है, और न्यूट्रल से उतना नहीं गया, या फॉर सम रीज़न ड्यू टू द पुअर क्वालिटी ऑफ द इलेक्ट्रिकल अप्लायंस, ओके, और मे बी इट इज़ वेरी एज्ड इलेक्ट्रिकल अप्लायंस, okay, it starts holding up the current. If the current is not gone back from the neutral, and if you touch it with bare foot, and if you are in contact with the earth, you will get electrocuted. Okay, so earthing क्या करता है, earthing उस सारी excessive current को ले जाता है direct earth में, इसीलिए उसका नाम ही earthing है. ठीक है, earthing में क्या होता है कि when the building is being constructed, a copper plate is buried deep inside the earth, and that is connected to all the outlets, the electrical outlets, okay, which are given into your household. So this is the basic funda of the earthing. ठीक है, लाइव वायर का फंक्शनिंग क्लियर है, टू ब्रिंग द करंट, न्यूट्रल का टू टेक बैक द करंट, एंड अर्थिंग का इफ देयर इज एनी एक्सेस अमाउंट ऑफ करंट टू सप्लाई टू द अर्थ. ओके, नाउ अर्लियर द कलर कोड्स फॉर लाइव वायर वाज रेड, फॉर न्यूट्रल इट वाज ब्लैक, एंड फॉर अर्थिंग इट वाज ग्रीन. नाउ इन इंडिया वी यूज ब्राउन फॉर लाइव, blue for the neutral, and green remains for the earthing. If we have three phases, okay, so if we have three phase supply, okay, three phase means अगर एक phase चला भी गया, okay, तो भी current नहीं जाएगा. ठीक है, ये normally हम use करते हैं घरों में और घरों से ज़्यादा हम ये यूज़ करते हैं अपने ऑफिसेज़ में, ठीक है। मुंबई में इतना ज़्यादा यूज़ नहीं है, मुंबई में इतना ज़्यादा वायर लाइन कट होता नहीं है, ठीक है, बट कई जगह पे लोड शेडिंग होता है, और लोड शेडिंग होने की वजह से अगर हम चाहते हैं कि पावर बना रहे तो देन वी यूज़ मल्टीपल फेसेस, ठीक है। तो मल्टीपल फेसेस को हम कनेक्ट करके रखते हैं, तो उस केस में जो फर्स्ट फेज़ होता है, मेन फेज़, उसका लाइव वायर जो है वो रेड कलर से होगा। जो सेकेंड फेज़ होगा, अगर फर्स्ट फेज़ गया हुआ है तो करंट आएगी तुम्हारी सेकेंड फेज से, और अगर दो फेज गए हुए हैं तो तीनों फेज से। अब अगर किस्मत बहुत ही ख़राब है, तीनों फेज साथ में चले गए, कंप्लीट लोड शेडिंग चालू है, तो फिर कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते। देन वी हैव टू प्रोड्यूस द करंट विद द हेल्प ऑफ अ जनरेटर, विच वी विल स्टडी इन द टॉपिक, you know, in the last part of the topic. Okay, in this case if there is a three phase wiring, then the neutral is given with the black color. Okay, earthing is again green, or green with the yellow stripes. So this is what is the color coding. Now what happens that if there is a old appliance, okay, and it's worn out, okay, तो बेसिकली जो प्लास्टिक की कोटिंग है अगर वो worn out हो गई है, ठीक है, तो लाइव और न्यूट्रल वायर कभी कभी डायरेक्ट कॉन्टैक्ट में आ जाते हैं। मतलब जो सर्किट बना हुआ है वो क्या हो जाता है, शॉर्ट हो जाता है, और उसी को हम क्या बोलते हैं, शॉर्ट सर्किट बोलते हैं, ठीक है। तो कभी कभी क्या हो जाता है, शॉर्ट सर्किट हो जाता है, ठीक है। अब ये जो शॉर्ट सर्किट हो रहा है, तो कभी कभी क्या हो जाता है, शॉर्ट सर्किट हो जाता है। अब शॉर्ट सर्किट ये जो हो रहा है, ठीक है, उसकी वजह से क्या हो सकता है, स्पार्किंग होती है। स्पार्किंग के होने की वजह से आग भी लग सकती है। हमने सुना होगा बहुत बार कि अरे वहाँ आग लग गई, फला जगह आग लग गई, ड्यू टू शॉर्ट सर्किट, ठीक है। तो अगर आसपास कोई ऐसी चीज़ पड़ी हुई है जिसमें क्विकली इट में कैच फायर, देन आग लगने के भी चांसेस हैं, ठीक है। तो ये नॉर्मली क्यों होगा, ये नॉर्मली तभी होगा जब लाइव और न्यूट्रल वायर डायरेक्ट कांटेक्ट में आ जाएंगे, ओके। तो अब एक्सेसिव करंट ना फ्लो हो, शॉर्ट सर्किट से कैसे बचा जाए। जब शॉर्ट सर्किट होगा तो बहुत सारी करंट फ्लो होने लगेगी एक ही साथ, ठीक है ना, उस पर्टिकुलर हाउस होल्ड में। तो इन सब चीज़ों को बचने के लिए हम क्या यूज़ करते हैं, फ्यूज़ यूज़ करते हैं, ठीक है ना। तो फ्यूज़ का बेसिकली काम क्या है, फ्यूज़ ये जो है, ये नॉर्मल फ्यूज़ तुमको दिखेगा तुम्हारे घर पे, ठीक है। अगर हम अपने सोसाइटी के इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बोर्ड को देखेंगे तो वहाँ पर तुमको ये इस तरह का फ्यूज़ दिखेगा। हर मीटर के साथ ये फ्यूज़ होता है, क्योंकि हर मीटर जो है वो अलग अलग हाउस होल्ड का है, अलग अलग फ्लैट्स का होता है। तो अगर किसी फ्लैट में ज़्यादा करंट जा रही है तो उसको हम यहाँ से कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं, ठीक है। हमें ये बात समझ में आ गई है, ठीक है, कि एक होती है लाइव वायर, एक होती है न्यूट्रल वायर, ठीक है, और एक होती है अर्थिंग, ठीक है। मिनिमम 2 पिन होता है, ठीक है। हैवी अप्लायंस में हम 3 पिन भी यूज़ करते हैं, ठीक है। कलर कोडिंग भी हमने इसकी देख ली है, ठीक है। अभी फ्यूज़ जो है वो कुछ इस तरह सा दिखता है, ठीक है। ये क्या है यहाँ पर, ये जो है बेटा इसको बोलते हैं MCB, ठीक है। इसको बोला जाता है MCB। MCB का मतलब होता है मिनी सर्किट ब्रेकर। ये क्या होते हैं, ये हम अपने फ्लैट के अंदर लगाते हैं और हर रूम के लिए एक कनेक्शन दे देते हैं, ठीक है, ताकि मान लो अगर एक पर्टिकुलर रूम में ज़्यादा फ्लो ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिक करंट होगा तो यहाँ पर ये ड्रिप हो जाएगा। ये मैग्नेटिक बटन है, ठीक है। व्हाट विल हैपन टू दिस विल ड्रिप, ओके। ड्रिप होने की वजह से सर्किट ब्रेक हो जाएगा, ठीक है। तो उस पर्टिकुलर रूम के तुम सारे अप्लायंसेस चेक करो, जो हैवी अप्लायंस है उसको बंद करो और फिर उसको वापस से ऑन कर सकते हो, ठीक है। तो ये आजकल मॉडर्न सर्किट ब्रेकर्स ये वाले हम यूज़ करते हैं, मैग्नेटिक। वायर चेंज करने का झमेला इसमें नहीं है, ठीक है। ये जस्ट ड्रिप हो जाएगा, ड्रिप होने के बाद एक बार जब तुमने सब चेक कर लिया तो उसको वापस से हम ऑन कर सकते हैं, ठीक है। तो इसमें एक पर्टिकुलर परमिसिबल अमाउंट ऑफ करंट होती है जो अलाउ रहती है, अगर उसके ऊपर रहेगी तो ड्यू टू दैट अंडरस्टैंडिंग, ठीक है, वो ड्रिप हो जाता है, ओके। अब फ्यूज़ में नॉर्मली क्या होता है, जो पुराने फ्यूज़ होते हैं उसमें बीच में एक वायर लगा हुआ है। अगर तुम उसको निकाल के देखोगे तो बीच में एक वायर दिखेगा, जो अगेन जिसका एक जो मेल्टिंग पॉइंट है वो एक सर्टन अमाउंट ऑफ वैल्यू पे फिक्स्ड है कि अगर उतनी करंट जा रही है तो उतनी हीट होनी चाहिए, तो वो काम करता रहेगा। अगर शॉर्ट सर्किट हो रहा है या फिर ज़्यादा करंट पुल कर रहा है कोई हाउस होल्ड, क्यों कर रहा है, गर्मियों में जैसे भाई AC भी ऑन है, फ्रिज भी ऑन है, TV भी ऑन है, ठीक है, बहुत सारे हैवी अप्लायंसेस एक साथ ऑन हो गए, तो कभी कभी ऐसा हो जाता है कि ज़्यादा करंट पुल होती है। तो उस केस में क्या होता है, जैसे ही यहाँ पे रियलाइज होता है कि ज़्यादा करंट फ्लो हो रही है, हीट ज़्यादा हो गई, तो वो वायर मेल्ट हो जाएगा। मेल्ट होने की वजह से सर्किट ब्रेक हो जाएगा, करंट का फ्लो स्टॉप हो जाएगा, और अगर कोई मिसहैप होने वाला होगा तो वो बच जाएगा, उससे हम बच सकते हैं, ठीक है। तो यहाँ पे जो है वो फ्यूज़ का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट यूसेज है हमारी डे टू डे लाइफ में, ठीक है। तो दिस इज़ ऑल्सो वर्किंग ऑन द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ हीटिंग इफेक्ट ऑफ करंट। हीट अगर ज़्यादा है, करंट ज़्यादा फ्लो होगी, हीटिंग इफेक्ट ज़्यादा होगा, हीटिंग इफेक्ट ज़्यादा होने की वजह से फ्यूज़ वायर जो है वो मेल्ट हो जाएगा। तो आई होप ये दोनों एप्लीकेशंस हमें एकदम क्लियर और अच्छे से समझ में आ चुके हैं, ठीक है। अब हम कुछ न्यूमेरिकल्स देख लेते हैं। देखो पहला न्यूमेरिकल देख लेते हैं, ठीक है। ये तुम्हारे टेक्सचुअल न्यूमेरिकल्स हैं जो हम कर रहे हैं। हीट एनर्जी इज बीइंग प्रोड्यूस्ड इन रेजिस्टेंस इन अ सर्किट एट द रेट ऑफ 100 वाट्स, ठीक है। तो ये 100 वाट्स का जो है वो पावर दिया हुआ है। द करंट इज 3 एम्पियर विच इज फ्लोइंग इन द सर्किट, व्हाट मस्ट बी द वैल्यू ऑफ रेजिस्टेंस, ठीक है। सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, ठीक है, इसमें डेटा क्या दिया हुआ है, पहले वो देखते हैं, डेटा क्या है, ठीक है। तो डेटा क्या दिया हुआ है, डेटा दिया हुआ है पावर, पावर इज इक्वल टू 100 वाट्स, ठीक है। करंट आई जो फ्लो हो रही है वो कितने की हो रही है, 3 एम्पियर की करंट फ्लो हो रही है, ठीक है। क्या फाइंड करने के लिए हमें बोला है, टू फाइंड व्हाट इज द वैल्यू ऑफ रेजिस्टेंस आर, ठीक है। तो सॉल्यूशन देखते हैं क्या होगा इसका। वेल स्टूडेंट्स, हमने 3 फॉर्मूले पढ़े थे पावर के, राइट। सो वी नो दैट पावर can be given by the formula I square R, I square R. So therefore R is equal to P upon I square, P upon I square. आओ ऊपर आ गए, आवाज मत करना, मैं रिकॉर्ड कर रहा हूँ। P इज इक्वल टू R इज इक्वल टू P अपॉन आई स्क्वेयर, ठीक है। तो व्हाट इज R, देयरफॉर R इज इक्वल टू, पावर यहाँ पे कितना है 100, करंट क्या है 3 का स्क्वायर, तो दिस इज 100 अपॉन 9, इसको कैंसिल आउट करते हैं तो 9 1 जा 9, 1 कैरी फॉरवर्ड, अगेन 9 1 जा 9, 1 कैरी फॉरवर्ड, इस तरह से 1 रिकरिंग होगा। सो देयरफॉर द वैल्यू ऑफ रेजिस्टेंस इज 11.11 ohms, ओके। सो दिस इज व्हाट इज योर आंसर। अब लास्ट में हम क्या लिखते हैं स्टूडेंट, स्टेटमेंट। स्टेटमेंट जो है वो हम कैसे लिखेंगे, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन व्हाट इज द क्वेश्चन आस्क्ड। क्वेश्चन इज व्हाट मस्ट बी द वैल्यू ऑफ रेजिस्टेंस, सो देयरफॉर the value of resistance will be 11.11 ohms. So this is what is the statement. I hope this question is clear to you. So let us go to the next question. The next question says two tungsten bulbs, okay, so there are two of the tungsten bulbs, okay, of what 100 and 60 work on 220 volts of potential difference. If they are connected in parallel, how much current will flow through the main conductor? Okay, तो देखते हैं इसमें डेटा क्या दिया हुआ है। डेटा क्या दिया हुआ है, वेल दो रेजिस्टेंस है तो दोनों का अपना अपना पावर है। लेट द पावर ऑफ द फर्स्ट बल्ब बी P1, तो ये 100 वॉट का है। Power of the other one is P2, which is 60 watts. They both are working on the same potential difference, which is 220 volts, okay. And we have to find out what is the amount of current. So to find I, so I is equal to question mark. So let us look at its solution. Well, if you all remember, okay, we know that the current which will be flowing into the main conductor will be the sum of the currents flowing through individuals, that is I1 plus I2. ये याद है, ठीक है। यहाँ पे देख लेते हैं। देखो जब रेजिस्टेंस पैरेलल में कनेक्टेड होता है तो 1 अपॉन RP इज इक्वल टू 1 अपॉन R1 प्लस 1 अपॉन R2 होगा इस केस में, ठीक है। 1 अपॉन RP, R का वैल्यू क्या होता है, ठीक है, तो R होता है, R का वैल्यू क्या होता है V अपॉन I, है ना। तो 1 अपॉन RP क्या हो जाएगा, 1 अपॉन V अपॉन I, ठीक है। इट इज इक्वल टू 1 अपॉन V अपॉन I1 प्लस 1 अपॉन V अपॉन I2। भाई V तो कॉमन ही है, ठीक है। अब इसका मतलब क्या हो गया, डिनोमिनेटर का डिनोमिनेटर हो जाएगा न्यूमरेटर, तो ये हो जाएगा I अपॉन V इज इक्वल टू I1 अपॉन V प्लस I2 अपॉन V। तो ये तो V और V कैंसिल हो गया। तो इससे मतलब हमें समझ में आता है कि टोटल करंट क्या होगा, सम ऑफ बोथ द करंट्स, ठीक है। तो अब यहाँ पे मेन सॉल्यूशन पे आ जाते हैं, ठीक है। सो हमें पहले क्या फाइंड करना है, ठीक है, हमें फाइंड करना है I1 और I2। I1 का फॉर्मूला क्या होगा भाई, अकॉर्डिंग टू द फॉर्मूला ऑफ पावर, ठीक है, वी नो दैट P is equal to VI, P is equal to VI. So therefore I1 will be equal to P1 अपॉन वी, P1 कितना है 100 अपॉन 220, ये ज़ीरो कैंसिल हुआ, ठीक है। तो ये क्या हो गया 10 अपॉन 22, ठीक है। 10 अपॉन 22 को यहाँ पे फटाफट डिवाइड करके देख लेते हैं रफ वर्क में, ठीक है। तो यहाँ पे 0 आ गया, एक पॉइंट लग गया, ये हो गया 100, तो ये हो जाएगा 4 टाइम्स, ठीक है। 4 इंटू 22 इज़ 88, है ना। यहाँ पे कितना बचा 12, पॉइंट लगा हुआ, एक 0 और आ गया, तो ये हो जाएगा 5, ठीक है। ये हो जाएगा 110, 22 इंटू 5, क्या बचा वापस से यहाँ पे 10, 0, थर्ड डेसिमल क्या आ गया वापस से 4, बिकॉज ये 100 था तो 88। इसके आगे हमें सॉल्व करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, ठीक है। तो राउंड ऑफ करके हम अगर 2 पॉइंट्स में लिखें तो ये कितना हो गया, ये हो गया 2 पॉइंट्स में 0.45 एम्पियर, 0.45 एम्पियर। सिमिलरली I2 कितना होगा, तो I2 होगा P2 अपॉन वी, P2 कितना है 60 अपॉन 220, ये ज़ीरो कैंसिल, ये हो गया 6 अपॉन 22। अब यहाँ पे इसको भी डिवाइड करके देख लो फटाफट 22 और 6, तो 0 पॉइंट, एक यहाँ आ गया 0, ठीक है। तो अभी 22 और 60 है, तो 22 इंटू 3 क्या होता है 66 होता है, तो ये हो जाएगा 2 टाइम्स, मतलब ये हो जाएगा 44, ठीक है। अगर ये 44 हो गया तो यहाँ पे कितना बचा 6 और यहाँ पे बचा 116, ये हो गया वापस से 160, ठीक है। 160 हो गया तो इसका मतलब ये कितने से जाएगा 22, एक बार रफ में देख लेते हैं, 22 इंटू 7 करके देखते हैं, तो 7 2 ज़ा 14, 7 2 ज़ा 14 एंड 1 5, 154, तो मतलब 8 टाइम्स बड़ा हो जाएगा, तो ये 7 ज़ा हो गया, ठीक है। 7 ज़ा 154, वापस से कितना बचा देखो 6, तो यहाँ पे वापस क्या आएगा 2, ठीक है। तो इसका मतलब ये कितना हो गया, राउंड ऑफ करके लिखेंगे तो 0.27 एम्पियर, क्योंकि थर्ड डेसिमल दोनों में 5 से कम है, ठीक है। सो नाउ इफ़ यू आर क्लियर, ठीक है, सो I इज इक्वल टू I1 प्लस I2, दैट इज इक्वल टू 0.45 प्लस 0.27, इन दोनों को ऐड कर लेते हैं, 45 प्लस 27 होता है 72, तो 0.72 एम्पियर, और यही हमारा आंसर है, ठीक है। अब लास्ट में क्या आ जाएगा स्टेटमेंट, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है ना स्टेटमेंट, ठीक है। तो स्टेटमेंट क्या लिखेंगे, स्टेटमेंट लिखेंगे हाउ मच करंट विल फ्लो इन द मेन कंडक्टर, सो देयरफॉर 0.72 amperes current will flow in the main conductor. I hope this is also clear to us, ठीक है। Now let us go to the third questions, ठीक है। थर्ड क्वेश्चन क्या है, who will spend more electrical energy, 500 watt TV set in 30 minutes or 600 watt heater in 20 minutes? Let us quickly check it. So what is the data given? First of all, what is the data given? In data you have TV set, ठीक है। Let the power of the TV set is P1, which is 500 watts, and the time is T1, which is 30 minutes. This can be converted into seconds because this is an SI unit, watts. So this is 30 into 60 seconds. इसको हम ऐसे ही छोड़ देते हैं फिलहाल। Second is heater. Let the power of heater be P2, 600 watts, and time is T2, which is 20 minutes. Again, this will be 20 into 60 seconds, okay. What is to be calculated to find who will spend more electrical energy, who will spend more electrical एनर्जी, टीवी सेट और हीटर, ठीक है। सॉल्यूशन देखते हैं इसका। ठीक है, सॉल्यूशन क्या होगा वो देख लेते हैं। अब इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी होता क्या है, तो होता है पावर इनटू टाइम। ठीक है, तो लेट E1 be the energy spent by TV set। ठीक है, so therefore E1 is equal to P1 into T1, that is equal to 500 into 30 into 60, that is equal to 6 5 ज़ा 30 और ये 1 0 2 0 3 0 4 0, 4 0 हो गए, 6 5 ज़ा 30। ठीक है, 6 इंटू 5 इज़ 30, 30 इंटू 3 इज़ 90। ठीक है, तो इतना जूल्स ऑफ एनर्जी खर्चा किया टीवी सेट ने आधे घंटे में। ठीक है, लेट E2 be the energy spent by heater, तो E2 will be equal to P2 into T2, that is 600 into 20 into 60, तो 0 0 0 0। ठीक है, 6 6 ज़ा 36, 36 इंटू 2 इज़ 72। ठीक है, मतलब इतना जूल ऑफ एनर्जी हीटर ने खर्चा किया। क्लियरली अगर हम कंपेयर करेंगे तो E1 इज़ ग्रेटर देन E2। ठीक है, तो हमारा स्टेटमेंट आ जाएगा, देयरफॉर टीवी सेट, जो हमारा राइट आंसर भी है, टीवी सेट विल spend more electrical energy। ये हो गया हमारा स्टेटमेंट। सो आई होप स्टेटमेंट भी क्लियर है, थर्ड क्वेश्चन भी हमें क्लियर हो गया है। ठीक है, तो लेट अस गो टू द फोर्थ क्वेश्चन। अब अगर फोर्थ क्वेश्चन की बात की जाए, ठीक है, फोर्थ क्वेश्चन देख लेते हैं। इसमें दिया हुआ है एन इलेक्ट्रिकल आयरन ऑफ 1100 watt is operated for about 2 hours daily. What will be the electrical consumption expenses for that month? That in the month of April, the electrical company charges ₹5 per unit of energy. So, what is the data? Data is power is 1100 watt converted into kilowatt, because we are talking about the electrical bill. So we know that 1 kilowatt is equal to 1000 watts. Therefore 1 watt is equal to 1 upon 1000 kilowatt. So therefore this is going to be 1100 upon 1000 kilowatt। ठीक है, सो दैट इज इक्वल टू 1.1 किलोवाट। टाइम इज गिवन टू यू 2 hours per day, okay, and charge per unit is given to us as ₹5. We're talking about month of April, so number of days in April is 30. Okay, to find what is to be calculated, the expense of electrical consumption only. Okay, we're not talking about the taxes and the other charges, okay, which you may see in your electrical bill. So let us come to the solution. Okay, let us come to the solution. amount of energy consumed in one day will be E is equal to P into T, that is 1.1 kilowatt into 2, that is equal to 2.2 units. यूनिट का मतलब किलोवाट आवर, यूनिट का मतलब कितना हुआ, किलोवाट आवर. 2.2 यूनिट पर डे हम खर्चा कर रहे हैं. ठीक है. सो therefore total energy consumed in the month of April will be energy consumed per day multiply by number of days, okay, which is equal to 2.2 multiply by 30. This is equal to how much? So this is going to be 660 और एक के बाद पॉइंट आया, तो मतलब 66 kilowatt hour of energy is used or units is used. Therefore expense is equal to number of unit multiply by charge per unit, that is equal to 66 into 5. 6 5s are 30, 6 5s are 30 and 3 carry forward to 330. आ गया हमारा स्टेटमेंट 330. ठीक है. So therefore the electrical consumption expense for electric iron for April will be rupees 330. So this is going to be our final statement. So students, I hope all the numericals related to heating effect are clear to you. Now we will begin with magnetic effect of electric current. So like heating effect was one of the effects, now we are talking about the magnetic effect of electric current. Now magnetic effect of electric current was first observed by Sir S.C. Oersted in the year 1820 when he saw that a magnetic compass needle shows a deflection if it is kept near to a current carrying conductor. So now to understand that better, first we will understand what are the magnets. Okay, so first we need to understand what is a magnet. Now student, when we talk about a magnet, basically it is an ore, okay, it is a stone. So a magnet is a material or object that produces a magnetic field. This magnetic field is invisible but is responsible for the most notable property of a magnet, that is a force that pulls on other magnetic materials such as iron and attracts or repels other magnets. Okay, so this is something very, very important for us. So let us say this is a bar magnet. Now why it is called as a bar magnet is because of its shape. Okay, this rectangular bar shaped magnet. Okay, so if I talk about the magnet, we see clearly here there is a north and a south pole. Okay, and the magnetic lines of force or the magnetic field looks something like this of a bar magnet. These lines are called as magnetic lines of force. Now if I take a particular magnet, okay, so if I have a magnet, I need to understand that it will have two poles, that is the north and the south pole. So a magnet is always, okay, a magnet is always going to have how many poles? Two poles, and that is the reason it is also referred to as a dipole. Okay, a single pole never exists. What does it mean? If I happen to break this magnet into two halves, automatically another south and a north pole will be developed on each of the broken pieces of the bar magnet. Not only this, if I will keep on breaking them, okay, we will keep on seeing that a new north and a south pole will keep on developing on the tiny pieces of the magnet. So a single pole never exists, students. Okay, so a few important things here. Okay, that is that it will attract materials like iron, okay, and it will attract or repel other magnets depending upon what is the polarity. Okay, what does the polarity means here? Okay, polarity means that north and north will repel, south and south will repel, whereas north and south will attract, or a south kept in front of north will also attract. That means the same poles repel, whereas the opposite poles attract. Okay, this is what we have to keep in mind always. And what are these lines? These are called as magnetic field lines, okay, or another name for them is called as magnetic lines of force, and this is what determines the field of a given magnet. Let us come to properties of these magnetic lines of force. The magnetic lines of force are closed continuous curves. They start from the north pole and end on the south pole. So it is very, very important that they are in the form of a continuous closed loops or curves, okay, and they are always going to start from north pole and they will end on the south pole. That means, in short, in the north pole, okay, the direction of the field is outward, okay, and for the south pole the direction of the field is inward. This is very, very important, and you always keep this in mind. Okay, also another thing what we notice here, that outside the magnet the field is north to south. Okay, inside the magnet the field is going to be from south to north. Okay, this is going to be the field inside the magnet. So outside the magnet it is north to south, inside the magnet it is south to north. Something very, very important, may be asked somewhere. Okay, next property, the direction of the magnetic field at any point is given by the tangent at that point. So if there is a point on the field, okay, in the overall the magnetic field is north to south, but if I have to find out at this particular point, okay, let us say here there is a point, so the tangent to this particular point will give me the direction of the field here. If I am talking about this point, tangent at this particular point will give me the field, the direction of the field at that point. The magnetic lines of force do not intersect each other. Very, very important. They will never intersect. Magnetic lines of force are crowded where the magnetic field is strong and are far from each other where the magnetic field is weak. This is also very important, students. Okay, the magnetic lines of force are going to be crowded where the field is going to be strong, and they are going to be scattered away from each other where the magnetic field is going to be weak. So I hope these four properties are clear to us, right? These are the four important properties of magnetic lines of force. So if these are clear, we can proceed further. You can take a screenshot of this. The name magnet is given to this ore because this was first found in Magnesia. Okay, Magnesia is basically in Asia Minor in Greece. There is a place, okay, this is the place, okay, where it was first found, and that is why it is the name given as magnets. So it's a ore, basically it's like a stone, okay, which has the property as we have discussed. Now if we further talk about the magnetic effect of current, what Sir Oersted noticed, okay, let us take a conductor AB, okay, these are the two terminals, okay. If we connect it with the circuit, okay, you see there is a circuit, that means there is a battery connected and there is a key. Currently the key is open, that means the current is not flowing. And if we keep a compass needle close to this particular conductor, okay, having a north and a south pole, so currently there is no deflection, a compass needle is just kept. But if I close the key, okay, if I close the key, the current will start flowing. If I have closed the key, now the current will flow from positive to negative, okay, that is from A to B. Now when the current starts flowing from A to B, we see that there is a deflection in the compass needle, and the deflection is north gets attracted towards the conductor and south is getting repelled. This similar thing was observed in case of magnets. The two magnets will repel or attract depending upon their polarities. So here if the north is getting attracted, I can say that my current carrying conductor is behaving like a south pole, okay, on this side. Okay, here there is a south pole which gets developed. Okay. On the other hand, okay, if I reverse the current, so the polarity of the current is reversed. Now the current is going from B to A. Then what will happen? The south pole gets attracted. That means here this side, now this side is behaving as a north pole. Okay, so this is behaving as a south pole. Okay, to be very precise, this downside is behaving as a south pole, and here the downside is behaving as a north pole. Okay, very, very important. So this tells me one simple statement, okay, which I have to keep in mind, and that is current carrying conductor behaves like a magnet. It is not a magnet, but it is behaving like a magnet when the current is flowing through it. Now the direction of this magnetic field depends upon the direction of the current flowing through the conductor. Okay, so when the current was flowing from A to B, the direction of the magnetic field was inward because it was behaving like a south pole. And when the current was going from B to A, the direction of the magnetic field was outward because it was behaving like a north pole. Okay, so very, very important that the direction of this magnetic field produced due to electricity or the current, electric current, okay, the direction of that magnetic field depends upon the direction of current. Also, Sir Oersted noticed that when the compass needle is closer to the current carrying conductor, the attraction or the repulsion is more, and when it is away, little bit of distance is more, then it is weak. That means the strength of the magnetic field produced due to the current flowing in a conductor is more stronger close to the conductor and is weaker as we go away from the conductor. So these were few points which were important to be understood. Number one, current carrying conductor behaves like a magnet. Number two, the direction of this magnetic field depends upon the direction of the electric current. Number three, the field is strong closer to the conductor and the field is weak as we go away from the current carrying conductor. So this was the story which was observed by S.C. Oersted in the year 1820. Moving ahead, okay, if we see a magnetic field for a straight current carrying conductor, how does it look like? Okay, so if we take a cardboard in which we make a hole and we make a conductor which is a straight conductor pass through it, so like this is a straight current carrying conductor and this is being made pass through it. Okay, then if we connect it with a circuit, the A and the B side, if that is connected with a circuit, now A is connected to the positive terminal. Okay, A is connected to the positive terminal, so this is positive, and B is connected to the negative terminal, so this is negative. Okay, so this is negative. Okay, so then what will happen is that as the current will flow, which is from A to B, we sprinkle some iron filings, and what we notice is very fascinating, that these iron filings are now arranged in the form of concentric circle. Okay, where the center is from where the conductor is passing. Okay, so these are now converted into concentric circles. So now I need to find the direction of the magnetic field. How can I find the direction of this magnetic field? We can find it with the help of right hand thumb rule. See, if there is a circular field, then in that case the field will be either clockwise or anti-clockwise. So let us see what is the right hand thumb rule. The right hand thumb rule, or Maxwell's corkscrew rule, says that imagine that you are holding a straight current carrying conductor in your right hand in such a way that your thumb points in the direction of current. Okay, so thumb is pointing now in the direction of current, which is upward. Then turn the fingers around the conductor. The direction of these fingers is the direction of the magnetic field. Direction of this field currently, okay, right hand thumb rule के हिसाब से it is going to be anti-clockwise, which is this, right? This is the direction of the field. So here this is going to be behaving like a south pole, okay, this is behaving as a south pole and this is behaving as a north pole in this particular case. Okay, I hope the right hand rule is clear. The Maxwell corkscrew rule, why it is said that Maxwell suggested that if we take, say, a wooden board or a cardboard and I take a screw which is in my right hand and if I turn it in clockwise direction, then it will go inward. So this motion of the vertical motion of the screw is representing the direction of the current. So if the screw is going down, that means if the current is going from B to A, okay, that means the direction of the field is clockwise. Okay, currently if I am going anti-clockwise, because here it is anti-clockwise, then the motion of the screw will be upward, okay, so A to P. So that also matches with my current conventions, okay. So that is why it is also called as a Maxwell corkscrew rule. I hope the right hand thumb rule is very clear to us. Now this magnetic field which is produced, okay, currently, which is an anti-clockwise direction, this magnetic field of a straight current carrying conductor will be reversed if the direction of the field is reversed. So now if I have reversed the polarity, you see here now this is plus and minus, okay. So now my B is behaving as positive and A is behaving as negative. In this case, the direction of the magnetic field will also change. Now it will become clockwise, okay. So again this can be identified using the right hand thumb rule. Now this magnetic field which is being produced, this magnetic field is directly proportional to the current flowing through the conductor and it is inversely proportional to the distance from the current carrying conductor. This is about straight current carrying conductor. Whereas if I take a piece of wire and convert it into a circular coil, okay, and I make it pass through a piece of cardboard. So I take a cardboard, I make 2 pinholes and this is how I pass the loop from this particular cardboard and I connect this loop with a circuit with a series of battery. Now we see that the current will pass, okay. Now the current in the circle is clockwise, okay. I sprinkle the iron filings. Now there are 2 points here, point P and point Q, okay. There are these 2 points. If I talk about the iron filings, they will arrange themselves in the form of concentric circle. Why? Is because this circle is made up of infinitesimal segment, okay. Infinitesimal segment matlab very very small, infinitely small straight segment. So here at point P, this segment, okay, this P has a segment in which the current is going outward, okay, and hence there will be a certain type of field here, okay. Here there will be a anti-clockwise field, okay. So the direction of the field will be like this. Whereas in case of Q, the field's direction is inward. Inward, that means now the field here will be in the clockwise direction. So this is going to be the direction of the field, okay. So here it is going to be anti-clockwise, here it is going to be clockwise, and this is how the field overall looks like here. यहाँ पे अगर हम देखेंगे तो ये पूरा आउटवर्ड फील्ड है, ये पूरा इनवर्ड फील्ड है, मतलब यहाँ पर क्या आ रहा है, नॉर्थ आ रहा है और यहाँ पर क्या आ रहा है, साउथ आ रहा है, ठीक है. इस तरह से हमें ये 2 पॉइंट्स दिख रहे हैं. This magnetic field which is produced is inversely proportional to the radius, ठीक है. Bigger the radius, lesser will be the magnetic field, and this magnetic field will also be proportional to the number of turns. So if there are 2 turns, the magnetic field will be multiplied, it will be double, okay. So here the magnetic field depends upon these number of turns. यहाँ पे अभी फिलहाल एक सिंगल टर्न है, अगर ये ज़्यादा होगा तो accordingly the magnetic field will be more strong. Now we talk about a solenoid. Now what is a solenoid? Solenoid is when a copper wire with a coating is wound into a chain of loops like a spring. It is called as a solenoid. This is how it looks like. If I connect this solenoid with a circuit, the current will start flowing, and with the help of a right hand thumb rule, students, right hand thumb rule अगर हम यहाँ पे यूज़ करेंगे, ठीक है, तो देखो करंट ऐसे आ रहा है, ठीक है, करंट ऐसे नीचे की तरफ जा रहा है यहाँ पे, ठीक है, करंट यहाँ से देखो यहाँ से ऐसे आएगा, ठीक है, करंट जो है वो यहाँ से इस तरह से पॉजिटिव टू नेगेटिव जाएगा ना, ठीक है. तो पॉजिटिव टू नेगेटिव अगर जा रहा है यहाँ पे इस तरह से आएगा, यहाँ से इनवर्ड जाएगा और यहाँ से आउटवर्ड निकलेगा, ठीक है। तो अगर यहाँ पे हम देखेंगे तो इधर साउथ पोल आ जाएगा और इस तरफ आउटवर्ड हो जाएगा, नॉर्थ पोल इस तरह से कुछ इसकी फील्ड दिखेगी, नॉर्थ एंड साउथ, ठीक है। यहाँ पर साउथ पोल आ जाएगा, इनवर्ड होगी, ठीक है, ये इनवर्ड होगी। राइट हैंड थंब रूल यूज़ कर सकते हो यहाँ पे, राइट हैंड थंब रूल के हिसाब से करंट नीचे जाएगी यहाँ पे, तो ये इनवर्ड होगा और यहाँ पे आउटवर्ड होगा। Now a solenoid's field looks like bar magnet, and that is why what we do is we convert this solenoid into a magnet which is due to current. How do we do that? We take a soft metal core, okay, with the help of that we can convert it. This magnetic field is directly proportional to current and is also directly proportional to the number of turns. Of course, that is also very clear to us. ठीक है, magnetic field will be more strong if the current is more, and the magnetic field will be more strong if the number of turns are more. Now we take a soft metal rod, okay, and we insert this metal rod here, okay. Now this becomes an electromagnet. This is what we are calling it as electromagnet, okay. The bar magnet was a permanent magnet. That means you cannot switch on or off a permanent magnet. It is always there, it is always on. But electromagnet is very useful to us because this behaves exactly like a bar magnet, and we can turn on and off. If I stop the supply of the current here, then this electromagnet will no more be a magnet, okay, because here it is behaving like a magnet only when the current is flowing through it, okay. That is the main difference between an electromagnet and a permanent magnet. Electromagnet can be turned off and on, whereas a permanent magnet is always on. Now let us come to another study, which is the force acting on a current carrying conductor. Okay, what does this mean? If I take a straight current carrying conductor, this is a wire which is a loose wire, I connect it with a circuit and I bring a horseshoe magnet near to it. Now please understand, this is the horseshoe magnet which is placed like this and not like this, okay. So the field is not going from north to south in this way, okay. You may say that, sir, the field is from north to south, so it is upward. It is not upward, it is inward. This is north and this is south, okay. This is north and this is south, so the field is inward, okay. The field is inward to your screen, okay. अंदर की तरफ है तुम्हारी स्क्रीन की तरफ, ठीक है, अंदर की तरफ है, ठीक है. This is north, this is south, so it is inward, okay. It is not outward. Inward, it is not upward also, it is inward, okay. Now if B is connected to the positive terminal and A is connected to the negative terminal, okay, then the current will flow. Current will flow from B to A. So now the current's direction is upward, okay. The current's direction is upward and the magnetic field is inward. So what will happen, we notice that there is a force which will act on this particular conductor. The proof of that comes that when I bring the horseshoe magnet close to the conductor, this is my straight current carrying conductor, which is a loose wire, and if I bring a magnet here, this conductor will bend, okay. This bending shows that there is a force. What kind of force? Okay, there is an outward force. This is the direction of the force, okay. So this is what is the direction of the force, okay. The magnetic field is inward, the current is upward, and this is the direction of the force acting on a current carrying conductor, okay. What does that really mean to us? What does that really mean to us? Okay, we can actually find out the direction of force or direction of the motion of the conductor. Force लगा इसीलिए body motion में आएगी. That is what Newton has suggested in its first law, that is law of inertia, that a body will continue to remain in the direction, or the body will remain in the state of rest unless and until the unbalanced force is acting on it. So direction of force and direction of the motion of the conductor will be the same, okay. Now this direction can be identified with the help of Fleming's left hand rule. Fleming's left hand rule says that if I take my left hand and stretch my forefinger or index finger, the center finger and the thumb in such a way that they are mutually perpendicular to each other, then if the index finger represents the magnetic field, the center finger represents the electric field, then the thumb will represent the direction of the force acting on a current carrying conductor. Very important, okay. That means if your index finger represents the magnetic field, your central finger represents the electric field, then your thumb is representing the force of direction or the force of force acting on a current carrying conductor or direction of motion of a current carrying conductor, okay. So this is what is Fleming's left hand rule. Based on this, we will today understand a very important application called as electric motor. Now electric motor is a device which is going to get the current, and with that current it will turn, that means it will convert the electrical energy into mechanical energy. How does that happen? When we talk about electric current, the current is of two types. One is called as a direct current and one is called as a alternating current. Okay, a direct current is basically a battery. Okay, so now here if you see, the current will go from positive to negative. सिंपल यूनिडायरेक्शनल करंट भी बोलते हैं इसको, ठीक है, क्या बोलते हैं, यूनिडायरेक्शनल करंट. यूनि मतलब सिंगल, यूनिडायरेक्शनल करंट भी बोला जाता है डायरेक्ट करंट को. ओके, वेर एन ऑल्टरनेटिंग करंट, एज द नेम ओनली सजेस्ट, ऑल्टरनेटिंग करंट मतलब यहाँ से स्टार्ट हुई, पहले ए से बी में गई, फिर बी से ए में आई, मतलब अब ये चेंज हो रहा है, उसका डायरेक्शन चेंज होता रहता है ना, डायरेक्शन जो है वो चेंज होता रहता है. ठीक है, दिस इज कॉल्ड एज ऑल्टरनेटिंग करंट. सम डिफरेंसेस लेट अस सी इन डायरेक्ट करंट एंड ऑल्टरनेटिंग करंट. The current flowing in one direction is in a circuit is called a direct current. The current changing in magnitude and direction after equal interval of time is called as alternating current. Direct current is a non-oscillating current, whereas a alternating current is definitely going to be oscillating current. Okay, right? So that is why we are calling as alternating current. So यहाँ पे देखो direct current का ग्राफ देखेंगे तो ये इंक्रीजिंग डायरेक्ट करंट, स्टेबल डायरेक्ट करंट और ये रिड्यूसिंग डायरेक्ट करंट है. ठीक है, इसका मतलब यहाँ पर कोई और फ्लक्चुएशन नहीं है भाई, करंट बढ़ी, स्टेबल हुई और फिर चलती रहेगी. ठीक है, करंट बढ़ेगी, स्टेबल होगी, फिर कम हो जाएगी. ठीक है, ऑल्टरनेटिंग करंट में क्या होगा, इट इज एन ऑसिलेटिंग करंट, इट हैज़ अ साइन वेव. सो दिस इज हाउ द करंट लुक्स लाइक. दिस इज कॉल्ड एज अ साइन वेव वेर इट स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम दिस पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट. ओके, इट रीचेज इट्स पीक हियर, then it changes its direction, again comes to zero, then it's going in another direction. Okay, and then again coming back to zero. This is one phase of this alternating current, and that is why you know in the last figure, okay, there was the alternating current का जो direction था वो कुछ किस तरह से बना हुआ था, ऐसा एक सर्कल था और इस तरह की ये वेव बनी हुई थी इनसाइड. ठीक है, तो ये ऑसिलेटिंग करंट है. ठीक है, साइन वेव बोला जाता है इसको. इसके बारे में हम आगे जाके डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे, मैथमेटिक्स में पढ़ेंगे या फिर हायर स्टैंडर्ड्स में पढ़ेंगे. इसको साइन वेव बोला जाता है. साइन वेव और कॉस वेव 9th स्टैंडर्ड में डेफिनेटली लोगों को थोड़ा सा एक आइडिया मिला होगा. ठीक है, इफ़ यू हैव स्टडीड फ्रॉम मी, डेफिनेटली इन द चैप्टर ऑफ साउंड वी हैव डिस्कस्ड अबाउट डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ वेव्स. वहाँ पे मैंने थोड़ा साइन वेव और कॉस वेव बताया हुआ है, उसके लिए मैं एक अलग से वीडियो डाल दूंगा, बहरहाल यहाँ पे ज़रूरत नहीं है. ठीक है, अब डायरेक्ट करंट की अगर हम और बात करें तो यहाँ देखो ये जो वेव है वो कैसी वेव है, साइन वेव है. अब अगर इसी को मैं कंपेयर करूँगा डायरेक्ट करंट के साथ, तो डायरेक्ट करंट कुछ इस तरह से है. देख रहे हो, ये रेड वाला जो लाइन है ना, ये डायरेक्ट करंट है और ये वाइट वाला जो है ये alternating current है. ठीक है, the frequency of DC is 0 because it is a non-oscillating current, but of course we understand the term frequency, this also we have studied in 9th standard, whereas the frequency of AC in India is 50 hertz. ठीक है, direct current cannot be used for a larger scale like a household purpose, because when we transmit direct current there is a lot of loss of energy, whereas in alternating current the loss of energy is very less, and hence this current can be used on a large scale, for example a household purpose. Okay, some example of direct current is, classic example is a battery. Okay, whereas these overhead wires or the underground wires like in Mumbai, these are the examples of alternating current. The current is coming through these sources. Okay, now as I said that we will understand about the electric motor. So here the electric motor is working with the help of a battery. So this is positive and a negative terminal. So here there is DC source. Okay, this is DC source. That means this is also called as DC motor because this is working on battery. Okay, likewise there can be AC motor also. Before we come to the construction and working of the DC motor, let us just quickly understand the left hand rule once again. ठीक है, तो फ्लेमिंग्स लेफ्ट हैंड रूल को एक बार अच्छे से समझ लेते हैं. ठीक है, यहाँ पे हम देखो इस बात पे देख रहे थे. अब इसका अगर ये जो डायरेक्शन है अगर हमें ये समझना है तो देखो एकदम सिंपल है. ठीक है, यहाँ पे करंट, लेफ्ट हैंड की हम बात कर रहे हैं, करंट कैसा है, यहाँ पे करंट कैसा है, ऊपर की तरफ है. मैग्नेटिक फील्ड कैसा है, इनवर्ड है. तो ये देखो ये इनवर्ड आया. ठीक है, ये आया तुम्हारा करंट, ये इनवर्ड मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है, ये करंट है. अब देखो मैंने थंब ओपन किया तो ये आया डायरेक्शन ऑफ मोशन. ठीक है, ये करके देख लिया सब लोगों ने. ठीक है, इनवर्ड अपने स्क्रीन देखो, अपने तुम्हारी तरफ से देखोगे तो तुम अपना यूज़ करो, नॉर्थ टू साउथ, इनवर्ड पॉइंट करो, इनवर्ड पॉइंट करो. ठीक है, वो तुम्हारा मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है. ऊपर की तरफ पॉइंट करोगे तुम्हारा करंट है, और थंब ओपन करोगे तो वो तुम्हारा डायरेक्शन ऑफ फोर्स है. ठीक है, तो ये अब हमें समझ में आ गया. तो वी आर रेडी विद अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द इलेक्ट्रिक मोटर. In electric motor, first of all, what is the definition? As I already told you all, an electric motor is a device which converts electric energy into mechanical energy. Okay, we take two magnets, north and a south pole. Okay, so what we are taking is we are taking a north pole and then we are taking a south pole. Okay, so there is a north pole and there is a south pole, and these two are facing each other. So north and a south, north and a south, they are facing each other. These are circular magnets. Okay, of course, if this is north pole, here there will be south pole, and if this is my south pole, then here it is going to be north pole, because they are dipoles. Okay, so I have taken a north pole and a south pole. In between these two poles, I will keep a loop of copper wire named as ABCD, with the two arms AB and CD connected with two split rings, metallic split rings. Okay, we can call them as XY, and these two split rings are then connected to carbon brushes. Okay, these carbon brushes are named as E and F. Okay, these two carbon brushes are then connected. Okay, these two carbon brushes are then connected with a circuit, that is a battery and a key. Now we see that as E is connected with a positive terminal. Okay, so the current will flow something like this. So now the current is going from ABCD. Now we use a Fleming's left hand rule. Okay, so this is how the magnetic field is there, north to south. Okay, और अब करंट कैसा है, इनवर्ट टू द स्क्रीन, इनवर्ट टू द फील्ड है, इनवर्ट टू द फील्ड है. अब देखो ये मैंने थंब ओपन किया, थंब कैसा है, डाउनवर्ड. दैट मीन्स दिस इज द डायरेक्शन ऑफ द मैग्नेटिक फील्ड. Okay, arm AB experiences a downward force. Okay, arm AB will experience a downward force. Likewise अगर हम CD की बात करेंगे तो ये मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है, बट अब इलेक्ट्रिक करंट जो है वो बाहर की तरफ आ रहा है, तो इट इज गोइंग टू एक्सपीरियंस अ अपवर्ड फोर्स. ओके, सो नाउ दीज टू इक्वल एंड अपोजिट फोर्सेस विल behave as a couple. Okay, what is a couple? Couple is not a balanced force or a action reactionary force. Couple is a two equal opposite force acting on the same body but different points. Okay, and this couple will in turn give you turning effect of force. Okay, it will give you turning effect of force. This turning effect of force is basically called as torque. Okay, that is a technical name for turning effect of force. तो यहाँ पे टॉर्क अप्लाई होगा. ओके, टॉर्क की वजह से देखो ए बी जो है वो नीचे जा रहा है ना, ए बी जो है वो नीचे जा रहा है, ए बी नीचे जा रहा है, सी डी ऊपर आ रहा है, ए बी नीचे जा रहा है, सी डी ऊपर आ रहा है, और इस तरह से वो टर्न हो रहा है एंटी क्लॉकवाइज. ठीक है, एंटी क्लॉकवाइज जब वो टर्न होगा है ना, एंटी क्लॉकवाइज जब ये टर्न होगा तो आफ्टर 180 डिग्री ऑफ रोटेशन ए बी की जगह पे सी डी आ जाएगा, सी डी की जगह पे अब ए बी आ जाएगा. Now CD will have a downward force, AB will be acted upon by a upward force, again torque will act, and again the anti-clockwise direction will continue to happen. So as long as the battery is applying the current, okay, the battery is supplying the current due to the magnetic field. Okay, a current carrying conductor within a magnetic field also behaves like a magnet, and due to the interaction of these two fields there is a force acting on the current carrying conductor. Okay, due to which the electrical energy is getting converted into a mechanical energy. From between I can pass an axle, and this axle can then be connected with a gear, and the gear can use for multiple functions, like for an electrical fan, electrical knife, or anything. Okay, so these will be your applications of electric motor, which really not there, but there is a separate video which you can watch for the applications of electric motor. Okay, so electric motor is also clear to you. This is our working of electrical motor. Okay, I hope this was clear to all of us. Now, like electrical motor is working on a certain principle, okay, which was observed by H.C. Austin in 1820. In 1831, Michael Faraday observed opposite behavior. Okay, what we already know, okay, is that a current carrying conductor behaves like a magnet. अब माइकल फैराडे ने क्या बोला, whenever the number of magnetic lines of force passing through a coil will change, the current is induced in the coil. This is called as Faraday's law of induction. देखो अभी तक क्या था कि जब हम करंट की बात करते हैं, ठीक है, तो दो चीज़ें हैं. पहली चीज़, अगर करंट स्टेशनरी है मतलब स्टैटिक करंट है तो उसके पास एक फील्ड होगी, और अगर ये करंट मूविंग करंट है तो उसके पास दो फील्ड होंगी. यहाँ पर सिर्फ इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड होगी, यहाँ पर इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड भी होगी, और उसके साथ साथ मैग्नेटिक फील्ड भी होगी. ठीक है, ये बात अभी तक हमने H.C. ऑस्टिन ने हमको समझाई. अब माइकल फैराडे ने ये बोला कि जिस तरह से मूविंग इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड प्रोड्यूसेस मैग्नेटिक फील्ड, ओके, इन सिमिलर वे moving, I am making it is little easy English for you, moving magnetic field will produce इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड। जिस तरह से मूविंग इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड मैग्नेटिक फील्ड को बनाती है, उसी तरह से मूविंग मैग्नेटिक फील्ड इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड को प्रोड्यूस करती है। मतलब अगर एक कॉइल ली जाए, इस कॉइल को गैल्वेनोमीटर से कनेक्ट किया जाए। गैल्वेनोमीटर क्या है? गैल्वेनोमीटर इज बेसिकली एन इंस्ट्रूमेंट, इट्स एन इलेक्ट्रोमैकेनिकल इंस्ट्रूमेंट यूज्ड फॉर डिटेक्टिंग and indicating the amount of current, not only detecting but also indicating in which direction the current is flowing, which is not found in ammeter. Ammeter can only detect and tell you how much current is being flowing, but it cannot tell you in which direction it is going. ठीक है। अब अगर इसके पास एक सोलेनॉइड कॉइल रखी जाए जिसको एक सर्किट से कनेक्ट किया जाए, okay, now we know that the magnetic field produced by the coil changes, it becomes weaker if the solenoid is moved away or the copper coil will be moved away. So if I move this coil away, I see that the current is induced. Induced matlab produced. Okay, if I bring the coil near to the copper coil, the direction of current again is induced, but in the opposite direction. So of course the direction of the magnetic field, if it is decreasing, it is producing the current in one direction, and when the magnetic field was increasing, it was producing the current in the other direction. Likewise, if I keep the solenoid coil stationary and I move my primary coil, again we see the same behavior. Current is produced, again it is brought closer, current is produced in the other direction. Okay, so this phenomenon is named as electromagnetic induction. What does it precisely means? Induction matlab production of electricity with the help of magnetic field or magnetism. Okay, so electromagnetic induction was observed by Michael Faraday in 1831 after 11 years. Okay, so production of electricity with the help of magnetism. I am sure that you have guessed I am coming closer to an application called as generator. We are going to produce current. Okay, so we are just coming to it. Now if you want to find the direction of the induced current, you can do so by Fleming's right hand rule. So जैसे हमारे पास left hand rule था, अब हम right hand rule use कर रहे हैं. It is very similar to the left hand. Okay, it says that if you take your right hand, stretch the index finger, the middle finger and the thumb in such a way that they are mutually perpendicular to each other, then if your thumb represents the motion of the conductor and the forefinger or the index finger represents the magnetic field, then the center finger represents the direction of the induced current. फर्क समझ में आया? देखो दोनों में फ़र्क क्या था कि जब हम लेफ्ट हैंड यूज़ कर रहे थे तो उसमें पहले मैग्नेटिक फील्ड था, फिर इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड था, बाद में मोशन आया, तो करंट की वजह से मोशन आया। यहाँ पर मोशन पहले आया, मोशन की वजह से करंट आया। मैग्नेटिक फील्ड दोनों में एग्जिस्ट कर रही है। ठीक है, फ़र्क क्या है? यहाँ पे पहले करंट पास कराया, यहाँ पे पहले मोशन किया। यहाँ पर करंट पास कराया, ठीक है, इस करंट को जब पास कराया इस मैग्नेटिक फील्ड में तो ये मोशन आया, ये फोर्स का डायरेक्शन आया। यहाँ पर जब इस मैग्नेटिक फील्ड में कंडक्टर को इस तरह का मोशन दिया तो इस डायरेक्शन में करंट प्रोड्यूस हुआ। ठीक है, तो दिस इज योर फ्लेमिंग्स राइट हैंड रूल. राइट हैंड रूल इज क्लियर टू अस. ओके, so in right hand rule your thumb comes first, determines the direction of motion, then your index finger magnetic field, and then your middle finger induced current का direction बताएगी. ठीक है, अब इससे हमें पता लगता है कि जनरेटर है. जनरेटर का मतलब क्या है? ठीक है, जनरेटर इज अ डिवाइस which converts the mechanical energy to electrical energy. Okay, so you have two types of generators. One is going to produce a direct current which is called as DC generator, and one is going to produce a alternating current which is called as a AC generator. We will study both the types of generators. The example of a DC generator is the mechanical energy of your bicycle's wheel converting into current and glowing your headlight of the cycle and storing the current also for the use later on. Whereas the normal electrical generator which is working on petrol or diesel is the example of your alternating current generator, which is used in the household or the offices if the current supply is cut. Okay, so let us see the DC generator. What is a DC generator again? DC generator is a device which converts the mechanical energy into electrical energy. It generates direct current. Okay, that means now the direction of the current is going to be unidirectional. Okay, so how is the construction? Construction is very much similar to the DC motor. We take two magnets, north and south pole, in front of each other. We keep a copper coil ABCD. Okay, the two arms ABCD are then connected to the metallic split rings. Now this is very important, split rings, and these split rings are connected to the carbon brushes. okay, B1 and B2. So here the split rings are called as R1 and R2. Now clearly you see, okay, that this R1, okay, is actually connected to B1 at the moment, and R2 is connected to B2 at the moment. Please pay attention to this part, okay. And then these two carbon brushes are then connected to the bulb. Bulb will give you the indication अगर current flow होगा, current induce होगी, current produce होगी तो bulb जलेगा. That is the proof that the current is being induced. Then we put an axle here, and with the axle I give a motion in clockwise direction. इस तरह से motion में create करता हूँ. जब कॉइल में मोशन आएगा, ठीक है, जब कॉइल में मोशन आएगा तब हम यहाँ पे राइट हैंड रूल यूज़ करके देख सकते हैं, ठीक है. राइट हैंड रूल यूज़ करके देखेंगे तो देखो ये तुम्हारा डायरेक्शन ऑफ द मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है, ठीक है. दिस इज द डायरेक्शन ऑफ द मैग्नेटिक फील्ड एंड अपवर्ड मोशन है ए बी के ऊपर, अपवर्ड मोशन है ए बी के ऊपर. तो करंट देखो कैसे प्रोड्यूस हुआ, इनवर्ड टू योर स्क्रीन, इनवर्ड टू योर स्क्रीन, ठीक है. ये एक इम्पॉर्टेंट है. तो यहाँ पे हम राइट हैंड रूल यूज़ करके देखते हैं. राइट हैंड रूल के हिसाब से देखो मोशन किस तरह से हो रहा है, ठीक है. मोशन ऑफ द कंडक्टर किस तरह से हो रहा है, ये मोशन ऑफ द कंडक्टर है, ठीक है. और ये तुम्हारी मैग्नेटिक फील्ड है, ठीक है. अब अगर मैं सेंटर फिंगर को ओपन करूँगा तो सेंटर फिंगर देखो इनवर्ड है, इनवर्ड टू द स्क्रीन, इनवर्ड टू द स्क्रीन है. तुम्हें भी यही आएगा, ठीक है. और अगर यही मैं सी डी के ऊपर यूज़ करूँगा तो ये तो मेरा मैग्नेटिक फील्ड नॉर्थ टू साउथ ही है, ठीक है. बट अब आर्म नीचे जा रहा है तो ये देखो ये ओपन किया, ठीक है. ओपन किया तो अब करंट जो है वो सी टू डी आ रहा है, ठीक है. इस तरह से, ठीक है, करंट आ रहा है ए से बी पे, बी से सी पे, सी से डी पे, ठीक है. और विद इन दिस पर्टिकुलर सर्किट द बल्ब, ठीक है, जहाँ पे लगा है वहाँ पे B2 से B1 पे करंट जा रहा है, ठीक है. B2 से B1 पे करंट जा रहा है, ठीक है. ये डायरेक्शन है करंट का, ठीक है. अब क्या हुआ देखो, इन द फर्स्ट हाफ R1 वॉज कनेक्टेड टू B1, 180 डिग्री रोटेट होगा तो उसके बाद देखो जहाँ पे AB था वहाँ CD आ गया. अब ध्यान से देखो तो अब सेकेंड हाफ में क्या हुआ, सेकेंड हाफ में R2 इज कनेक्टेड टू B1 एंड R1 इज कनेक्टेड टू B2, ठीक है. ये सेकेंड हाफ में हुआ, ठीक है. मोशन तो सेम ही है, ठीक है, दैट इज क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन पे ही है, ठीक है. तो अब करंट कैसे हो रहा है, D to C और B to A. इसका मतलब इनसाइड द करंट इज स्टिल फ्लोइंग फ्रॉम B2 टू B1, B2 टू B1. तो करंट का डायरेक्शन चेंज यहाँ पर नहीं हुआ, करंट का डायरेक्शन चेंज नहीं होगा, ठीक है. करंट का डायरेक्शन यहाँ पे चेंज नहीं हुआ. दिस इज द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ करंट, वर्किंग ऑफ द DC जनरेटर. आई होप दिस इज क्लियर टू अस. Construction and working is clear. Now we see AC generator. What is AC generator? AC generator is a device which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. It generates alternating current. Construction, magnets, north and south, okay. Copper coil. Now here you see this ABCD में AB छोटा है और यहाँ पे split rings नहीं है, यहाँ पे दो metallic rings है, complete circular rings है, ठीक है. अब R1 और R2 में देखेंगे तो R1 इज कनेक्टेड विद B1 एंड R2 इज कनेक्टेड विद B2, और यही फर्क है, ठीक है. यहाँ पर R1 इज ऑलवेज कनेक्टेड टू B1 एंड R2 इज ऑलवेज कनेक्टेड टू B2, ठीक है. इन द प्रीवियस केस, इन द फर्स्ट हाफ R1 was connected to B1 and R2 was connected to B2. In the second half R1 was connected to B2 and R2 was connected to B1. Here always R1 will be connected because ये पीछे है ना रिंग, ये हमेशा B1 के साथ ही कनेक्टेड है R1, और ये हमेशा B2 के साथ ही कनेक्टेड है. फिर यहाँ पे हमने इसको गैल्वेनोमीटर से कनेक्ट किया. यहाँ पे क्योंकि ऑल्टरनेटिंग करंट है तो बल्ब तो खाली जलेगा चाहे करंट किसी भी डायरेक्शन में हो, तो यहाँ पे हमें डायरेक्शन भी चाहिए, इसलिए बल्ब की जगह हम यहाँ पे क्या यूज़ करते हैं, गैल्वेनोमीटर. अब एक्सल है, एक्सल में क्लॉकवाइज इसको रोटेट किया, क्लॉकवाइज रोटेट किया तो लाइक लास्ट टाइम हमने देखा करंट प्रोड्यूस हुई. करंट प्रोड्यूस होने की वजह से देखो करंट इस डायरेक्शन में प्रोड्यूस हुई, ठीक है. A to B, B to C, C to D, मतलब विद इन द सर्किट, ठीक है. इन द फर्स्ट हाफ करंट इज गोइंग फ्रॉम B2 टू B1, करंट इज गोइंग फ्रॉम B2 टू B1, इस डायरेक्शन में करंट जा रही है, ये दिख रहा है, ठीक है. अब फर्स्ट हाफ रोटेशन में करंट जो है वो B2 टू B1 गई. अब सेकेंड हाफ में क्या हुआ, सेकेंड हाफ में देखेंगे तो जहाँ पर AB था वहाँ पे CD आ गया, जहाँ पे CD था वहाँ पे AB आ गया, ठीक है. मोशन अभी भी क्लॉकवाइज ही है, ठीक है. तो अब देखो डायरेक्शन ऑफ करंट जो है वो चेंज हो गया, ठीक है. अब D to C करंट जा रहा है और B to A करंट आ रहा है. बट ध्यान से देखो, बट AB इज स्टिल कनेक्टेड टू B1, AB इज स्टिल कनेक्टेड टू B1 एंड CD is still connected to B2, but अब यहाँ पर AB पे करंट आ रहा है, B to A आ रहा है, मतलब now within the circuit, ठीक है, current is going from B1 to B2. So in the second half, the current is going from B1 to B2. That is why we are saying it is alternate current. तो first half of cycle में every time current will keep on fluctuating, ठीक है. First half में B2 to B1, second half में B1 to B2. Are you getting it? So this is where we say this is the working of the AC generator. Okay, this is the working of a AC generator. So direct current generator and a alternating current generator. Main यहाँ पे difference समझ में आया. यहाँ पे R2 is always connected. मैं फिर से यहाँ पे लिख देता हूँ always connected to B1 and R2 is always connected to B2. ठीक है, इसी वजह से first half of rotation में current is from B2 to B1 and in the second half of the rotation the current is from B1 to B2. So I hope that the electric motor, the AC generator and the DC generator is clear to you all. With this, the topic is over. As we said that it is a one-shot marathon video. Okay, so entire topic of 10 standard effects of electric current here comes to an end. Students, I hope that you enjoyed the session. Okay, I hope that you all enjoyed the session. And for any queries, you can feel free to write me in the comment box. Okay, you can feel free to write me in the comment box. Okay, also. I will be eagerly looking forward for another video. So till then, I will expect you all to go through this particular video for a couple of times. Okay, go through the video for a couple of times, and if there are any questions, you can definitely write back to me. Okay, I will soon see you in another video. So students, till then, keep learning and stay connected with the channel. I hope you have already shared the video and subscribed to the channel.